Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go. I couldn't be your hero, baby. Oh, yeah. I couldn't chase away your pain.
You can't break away from me.
I gotta say, there's a lot of great songs that have the word hero in it as I've been putting Instagram reels together here. That was one of them in my head, like the Enrique Iglesias, I can be your hero, baby. And then there's, of course, Nickelback. And they say that a hero is I'm not gonna There's that one. There's a sort of a newer dance song, Alessia, that's like, we could be heroes.
Yeah. Or holding out for a hero.
What's that?
Holding out for a hero.
Is that it? Yeah. Then there's
hero.
Oh, that's a good one. There's also
a hero till the end of the night.
There's also Mariah Carey. How's that one go again? Oh shoot, now I forget that one. But she does sing the word hero in it. What else? What's the other one? Foo Fighters. There's that one. Yeah, there's so many. We're not going to play them right now because they're all licensed songs. But why are we talking about heroes? That is because of our upcoming live training event, Audition Hero, where you can step into your dream role in 2022 as an audition hero. You can join us January 27th at 6 p.m. for day one. It's going to be a 3-part training series. It is absolutely free. And how do you get on board with that? You go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. It's right there. Yes, that's and those of you who are listening, laughingvikings.com/audition hero. I'm going to say it one more time, laughingvikings.com/audition hero. Ah, look at me. I'm all blurry here. What the hell? What the hell, Brandon? What the hell? This is not how we rehearse this. I wasn't blurry in rehearsal.
Nope.
I'm going to step out.
Okay.
There we go. And
There
he's
you go.
back. The non-blurry Lars.
That is, Lars. That is a good practice of entrances and exits. So
there it is.
There you go. You're doing your work for today.
There it is. Yes. So be sure to join us for that session. It's coming up in 2 weeks, depending on when you're listening to this. Right now, it is January 10th. Who knows when you're listening to this? But go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. And if by chance you're listening to this and that date has already passed, you can still go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero and you can sign up for the wait list for the next training series that we run in case you missed it. But if you're here right now, go there now, save your spot, and you can join us for that training spectacularo, and you can become an audition hero. The world needs more heroes, is what it needs right now.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly, they don't need more audition villains. You do not want to be an audition villain. Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. Anything you want to talk about weekend-wise, or are we going to get right into this? We should say, we've been losing legends recently. I feel like the beginning of every year, over the last few years, there's like showbiz legends that are just like, fuck this. Can't do another year on Earth in this realm. I am out of here. We lost Betty White right before the new year, Sidney Poitier. And last night we lost Bob Saget. So shout out to the legends. And one thing that I was really noticing about Bob Saget is everyone's posts in and out of the business is just, what a nice guy, what a great guy, the best guy, the kindest guy, the nicest guy. Obviously funny and obviously had a great showbiz career between all of his television and film. But it was all about, like, what's the legacy you want to leave at the end of your life? The 24 hours when everyone's saying rest in peace on social media for you, you want them to be saying what a great guy or what a great gal you were. So shout out to them. We just keep losing these legends. So God forbid you die on a day where a legend dies, man. That's my like long-term showbiz nightmare, is to have an illustrious career, have a wicked career, and then the day I die, some like top 10 titan dies, so that you're just lost in like nobody's. It's like you're on the back page of the obituaries rather than on the front page.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I feel bad. Like, who died yesterday that isn't Bob Saget, or who died the day before that isn't Sidney Poitier? Am I saying that right? Poitier?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes.
I'm not 100% certain, but I believe so.
Who, of course, is a legendary actor and also a civil rights Black activist as well, who made huge strides for the Black community and the artist community as well too. Hey, we got Jim Tubinator and we got Simba. We're going international here. Simba is from Buffalo, from our Todoroff Conservatory. Shout out to Simba, throwing up those love and those hearts. That's great. Yes. We got Laughing Vikings Buffalo in the house today. That's good to see you. So shout out to those legends. We're going to talk today. Our topic is leading to auditions. How do you want to become an audition hero? But there's something that you got to do before your audition, and that is rehearse. One of the 3 acting techniques being rehearsal, auditioning, and performance. Well, you gotta practice a little bit before you get to audition. And as our coach Tom Todoroff always says, rehearsals. You're rehearing things. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 ways that actors can make their rehearsals more effective, leading to a fantastic performance or an audition, depending on what you're rehearsing for. We got the chat is blowing up right now here. Yeah.
Jim Tooby wants to be called Mr. Tibbs now.
Mr. Tibbs.
Mr. Tibbs, you got it.
All right. That sounds like a delicious soft drink. Instead of Mr. Pibbs, we got Dr. Pepper and Mr. Tibbs.
Mr. Tibbs.
Nice. Oh, I could really go for a Mr. Tibbs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Simba's loving it.
I could. Oh, I am parched. Yeah, just one. Can I get a large Mr. Tibbs, please? Right. All right. Back to business here. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 ways that you can make your rehearsals as an actor more effective. Because let's just say, I mean, you don't just get the sides and then take a one shot at it. You should be putting a little prep and a little time into it. So we're going to talk about 5 ways you can make your auditions rehearsal period more effective, thereby making your rehearsals or your auditions even better. So we're going to get into it.
Yep.
We're going to do it right now. Also, throughout the episode, if you have any other tips or ideas, feel free to share them. And next time we make a list, maybe we'll add yours to the list. Feel free. Any rehearsal tips, any hacks, any things that you've learned over the years that have been effective for you. So number 1, this is one that we've learned directly from Tom Todoroff, and I think it's probably one of the most little used tips. I didn't know about it. I never thought about it before, but removing punctuation and stage directions. Boom. So what are we talking about here? The second you get your sides, either retype them or rewrite them if you're a handwriting type person, but remove all punctuation. So get rid of those goddamn commas, take out those stupid periods, fuck those exclamation points. you might keep a question mark or two. But for the most part, get rid of the punctuation. Now, some of you might be like, what? Oh my God, punctuation. But that's the writer. The writer wrote that. The producers know that there's a period and a comma and all this punctuation. Here's the deal though. Punctuation is written for readers. Punctuation is not written for speech or actors. We don't speak in life in punctuation. We don't say like, I can't even give an example right now, but we think in thoughts. We don't think in sentences. We don't think in commas. We don't think in semicolons or colons. So the second you remove all that punctuation, it's really going to free you up as an actor. It's going to make sure that you avoid the trap of taking a breath at a comma or taking a big pause at a period. That's also going to make sure that if the producers are watching 50 auditions, they're watching 50 people who deliver every line, reading every comma and pausing at every period and doing all the exact same things. There's going to be no life to that audition. Mm-hmm. So one of the first ways you can stand out and pee on it / make it your own is get rid of that punctuation, because that is not life. Acting is not grammatical. Life is not grammatical. It is emotional, and it's more about your emotions and your hips and your heart, a little bit of your head, but get rid of punctuation. Anything more you want to say about punctuation, Brandon?
No, I mean, you gave such a great description, Lars, and like it is about finding the variety in the script. So even if you only have 2 lines and there's a bunch of punctuation in there, you're going to be the one that finds something different because you've taken out that punctuation. You've done this step, and taking this one step can really lead you down a whole new path that maybe nobody else that was auditioning for this role saw. So it is such a highly effective tool.
Right. Yeah. And it's again, the term we always hear from Tom is act at the speed of life. Mm-hmm. Act at the speed of life. And again, listen to a conversation, listen to this podcast right now. If you were to write this out, there would be commas and there'd be periods and there'd be question marks. But right now I'm just ranting and I'm going on a one long thought, and we drive through to the end of thoughts. We don't just speak periods and speak commas. And guess what? If any part of you control freaks out there are listening and you're thinking, oh my God, I can't take the periods out. That's the control and the ego in you. And guess what? No producer or casting director was like, man, did you see how that person played that comma exactly where it was written? Wow. Did you see how at the end of that sentence, they paused because there was a period there? That's exactly how it was written. It's like this guy is inside our brain. No, they're going to be. And the other thing is a little bit of acting or a lot of acting, it needs to be surprising, especially if it's comedy. You have to, a certain element of comedy is surprise, and you got to keep people on your toes, and you can't allow your audience, especially the auditioners, you can't allow them to get ahead of you. And if you're doing it slow and to the punctuation, they know exactly where you're going, and they're just sitting watching 50 of these in a row thinking, I want to shoot myself in the head. Like, get to it, make it real. And the second you see any great acting, you're not seeing punctuation. You're seeing a scene that's vibrant and quick, and actors are overlapping each other. It's not my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. So get rid of that punctuation. You're not going to be cast on how well you played a semicolon. And what the hell is a semicolon anyways? Nobody knows. My dad's an English teacher, and he's taught me 1,000 times what a semicolon is, and I still have no idea. So
it's like me with NFTs.
Right. It's almost the same thing. Yeah. So second part of this one is remove stage directions. Now, you're probably going to remove about 90% of the stage directions. If there is a line that says, the exception might be the line where it's like, hey, put that gun down. If the line before says he draws his gun, you probably got to keep that stage direction in there. But little things like he said angrily, or he raises his eyebrow, or he
Mumble.
inhales slowly, or he stands up and sits down and stands up and sits down. Again, that stuff is like, no, you're not going to get cast based on that. Like, holy shit. Whoa, bravo, sir. That point in the script where you sat down on the chair exactly where it said he sits down in the chair, you're not going to get cast based on that. So don't worry about that stuff. And
that was an Oscar-worthy sit, if I have anything to say about
it. God, did you see the way that guy sat right there?
I did.
Did you see the way he said that sarcastically in brackets? Like, again, that's there. I mean, the writer's throwing that in there, but if you follow all that stuff, again, if everyone follows that, they're going to watch 50 auditions that are exactly the same, where everyone's following punctuation, they're following stage directions. They know what you're going to do before you even do it. You're not going to surprise everyone. You're going to have a good intellectual reading, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah, he's got some chops. He's able to read. He's able to act. He's able to follow directions. But when they're only going to cast one person out of 500 that are auditioning for it, it's not going to be the person who follows all those directions. So yeah, get rid of that stuff. And again, if the control freak in you is like, oh, well, what are they? Again, there's no they. It's just about your job your job as the auditioner and as the actor is to color it with your choices, to make it yours, to make it unique, to bring it off the page. So getting rid of punctuation and getting rid of all those silly little stage directions is really going to help with that. And if the point comes, if they're like, well, no, we need you to sit exactly right then you can take a direction and do that. But you don't need to do that in an audition. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I can't like, yeah, there you go. Joanna Whaley. Oh, Joanna Whaley. Look at all these people. We got all kinds of Todoroff Conservatory people. I love this because you guys know exactly what we're talking about. So I'm preaching to the choir here. Look at that. I went, there we are.
Oh, there you go.
I keep going blurry. What the fuck? There we are. I'm getting fed up with this Logitech. I have a pretty solid Logitech webcam, and I do not like the fact that it loses focus so easily. Mm-hmm. So Logitech, if you're listening, I'm thinking of breaking up with you because I don't like it at all. This is Bush League. Like, look at that. What is that? All right.
They're not real heroes, are they?
I'm back. All right. So that's number one. Get rid of punctuation, get rid of stage directions, rewrite it all or retype it all without any of that stuff. And what'll happen is it's like you become an uncaged bird that's not caged in by punctuation and by stage directions. And what you do after that is going to be so much more unique and original and creative because you're not painting by numbers. And drawing inside the boxes and stuff. You're going to draw outside the lines. You're going to use wild colors. You're going to use wild choices. You're going to invent some stage directions. You're going to do some things that were not on the paper. And they're going to be like, whoa, fuck, this person is the real deal. They bring real choices and real creativity. They don't just know how to sit and stand when we tell them to. Mm-hmm. All right. Number two, the second tip to make your rehearsals more effective are color it with bold choices. Ultimately, what is your job? Your job, like we said, is to take that script off the page, off the paper, and make it uniquely yours. Again, we always hear the term in Tom's class, you want to pee on it, make it yours, make it personal. And that means bold choices. So your job is to, you got to serve the text and serve the story and fulfill the requirements of the text. But then it's about you bringing your talent, which is your creative choices. And by making bold swings and taking bold swings, and the term that we always hear is your talent is in your choices. Never make one choice when you can make three choices. Never make three choices when you can make 33. Never make 33 choices when you make 333. Never make 333 choices when you make 3,333. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Just color it. Use pencil crayons and colors that don't even exist. Mix them together. Throwing some glitter on that shit, like just get it in there. Just get it in there. I don't know what else can we say with bold choices. I mean, for us, our terminology that we use is we would infuse it with the guideposts. through Michael Shirtliff and the 3 that Tom has added, the 15 guideposts. So making sure that you can have as much in there as possible. And the thing about rehearsals too is often we're getting sides where we don't have all of the information. And a lot of people freak out at that. They're like, well, I don't know what my relationship is, or I don't know how I know this guy, or I don't know how long I've known him, or I don't know why I'm actually here. Then it's just your job to just make shit up. That's creative, and make the biggest, boldest choice. That usually means it's not just a friend that you kind of know, it's your best friend that you loved and you've known him since childhood, or it's not just a crush that you kind of think you might maybe sort of like. This is like the most fiery, passionate love relationship that you've ever been in. You're madly in love with this woman, so that you're making the strongest, most visceral choices rather than tepid vanilla choices. Mm-hmm. So like, don't paint things with vanilla. And a lot of that comes again from worrying about what they do or do not want. Like, and I used to think of this all the time. When I first started acting, I was like, well, just tell me what you want. Like, do you want me to say it like this? Do you want me to say it like that? Am I mad here or am I happy here? Like, and it was all me sort of overthinking, what do they want? What do you want me to do? I can do anything. And it was just kind of me like, you want me to act? I can act. Yeah, tell me what you want me to do. But that's not what it's about. On set, the director and the ADs and everyone, they got enough to worry about. They don't want to be telling you what to do. They just want you to bring it and color it. And if they have some adjustments and some redirects, then they'll give that to you. But be bold, take big swings, and infuse it with as much of your own unique personality and your own special skills. If you're a dancer or a singer and you can sing a line, or you can find a moment where you can move and show off that, oh shit, this lady, she's got some dance and some rhythm. Throw in vocal variation. So go high on a line, go low on a line, stretch some words out, go real fast at some point, go real slow at some point. Do all those things, because you got to remember, an audition is not about being right or wrong. It's weak or strong, and it's an audition, and it's not just an audition for that part. Sometimes it's an audition for you with that casting director or with that production team, which means you're sort of, this is like it's like a first date where you're like, hey, this is me. This is what I bring to the table. I bring a ton of creative choices. I bring a lot of fun. I bring vocal variation to it. I bring tons of humor to it, mischief. I bring tons of physicality to it. So you just show them 1,000 choices, and then they're like, well, okay, like anything that we give this person in terms of a scene, they're going to color it with a million things. So we're never going to be, they're never going to be thinking like, oh, like, what do we do with this? Like, how do we make this something? They're just like, you make it something, and we sort of tweak it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Make sense? Anything else you want to add there?
Well, even if it seems like there isn't a lot of choices to be made, because there's a lot of scenes that you're going to be auditioning for, they're fairly small roles. Like for the beginning of your career, it's going to be fairly small roles. And so you have to infuse a lot of these bold choices, and that comes with the guideposts, that comes with vocal variation and writ and finding vocal variation and viewpoints and all that stuff to make your audition stand out. And the more you do that, even if it doesn't seem like there is a lot there for you to work with, there's so much underneath the surface. And the more you dig, the more your innate curiosity will come out to play. And like, I love being a text detective, but sometimes I'm very lazy when it comes to it, and I don't want to do the work a lot of the time. But it's finding that motivation, and especially when you dig deep, you'll get so invested in it, because now you're like, ooh, I didn't see that before. That's really cool. I want to keep focusing on that, and I need to keep exploring that avenue. So like, the more you do that, the more invested you become, the more excited you'll be. And as Tom likes to say, if you're more excited about it, then you're focused on the work, because if you're nervous about it, you're focused on yourself, and that doesn't serve you, especially in the audition.
Right. Yeah. And nobody wants to worry about you and your ego and your own personal problems and your insecurities. That's repelling. Same as it is in a date. If you sit down, you're like, oh, how's my hair? I feel so fat. Like, are my eyebrows fucked up? Like, what's going on with my hair? Oh, my skin. Oh, this doesn't feel too good. Oh, I feel real nervous right now. You're just like, okay, check, please. I'm out. Like, no need for a first date, like, or a second date, or a first date. Yeah. And as far as like, those, if you don't have a ton to work with, if it's a smaller sides, that's your time to shine, where you get to be a creative artist and you get to make shit up. You get to play. Now, you can't just make shit up for the sake of making shit up. That's so wild that it's just like, oh, I decided that I'm going to be an alien, or I'm half robot. And it's like, well, where did that come from? Well, I thought it was a wild choice. Like, or I thought I would scream the whole scene because I have a medical condition where I scream. So I was just like, oh, everyone, how are you doing? Like, you can't be so random. But one of the other things is, for us, guidepost 8 is, Brandon, importance. So make everything important. When you like everything you talk about, if you're talking about a food, and you're listing a list of food, like, really fucking love that food when you talk about it. Love everyone, have an opinion about everything that you're talking about. If you're referencing another character, let us hear in your voice how you feel about them. If you're speaking in the voice of another character, throw on a little voice like they talk, so that there's all these different colors. So it's just painting with as many colors as you could possibly paint with. And I guess one other thing I'll say about bold choices is, I always find the more time I spend rehearsing and prepping with something, the more layers of the onion you peel off. So if you're doing everything very last minute, and sometimes we don't have that much time, but use all the time you have to the best of your ability. So if you get sides on a Thursday night and the deadline's not till Monday, well, if you start only on Sunday afternoon and you squeak it in Sunday night, you're going to wake up Monday morning or Tuesday and be like, oh, fuck, I could have done this. But if you had rehearsed a little bit on Friday, slept on it, rehearsed on Saturday, then you're like, ooh, shit, what about this? I didn't find that. And then you got all these sparks of new ideas. I always used to find that in live auditions. I'd walk out and I'd be walking home thinking, oh, fuck, how did I not do this? And it's just a function of time. So use all that time that you have. The more you rehearse, the more you'll uncover, and just keep digging and digging and digging. And Tom always tells us that your rehearsal is really a series of questions that you ask about the script and the given circumstances and your given character. And then your performance is the answers to those. So the more questions you're asking about, who am I? Why am I here? What do I want? What am I fighting for? What's my relationship? How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? How do I feel about her? How do I feel about him? What's the big event here? All these questions, then your answers is going to be a colorful performance, rather than just like, if your only question is, what do they want? Then it's like, that's just, you've kind of lost at the beginning of it. So color it with bold choices. I'm colorblind, by the way. And not in a, and I don't mean that in a racial way. I mean that I'm colorblind. I see all those dots, and I just see a big circle full of dots and no numbers. And people are like, yeah, what's the number? And I'm like, I don't see numbers. I see a bunch of red and green dots. Thank you. When I'm golfing, if the pin is red, if the flag on the pin is red and there's trees in the background, I will not see that red flag. It just blends into that. So I'm cursed. I can never be a fighter pilot. And maybe I can't be a crossing guard either, because I'll be telling kids to cross at a red light when it's green, or green when it's red. Yeah, here you go, Lori, my son. Yeah, I feel his pain. We can never be fighter pilots.
I'm sorry for you, Lars.
Well, I had to fall back on an actor. I was going to be
It's too bad, because you can't see the colors of the beautiful poster that's behind you for Audition Hero.
Well, I see colors. I just see them slightly different than other people. It's not like I don't see. I used to fuck with people like in high school, especially, or in university. I'd meet someone and a girl would be like, "Oh, you're colorblind? What does that mean?" And I would be like, "I only see black, white, and gray. I see no colors." But I do see colors. and I see my blurry face again. God damn it. Logitech. All right.
Go do an entrance and an exit, Lars. And action. Oh.
And we're back in full focus. All right. By the way, if you're loving this, make sure to go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. Save your spot for Audition Hero. That's January 27th at 6 p.m. is day one. We're going to have a ton of fun, and we're going to be training on all things audition related, how to step into your dream role as an audition hero. And that's going to be very interactive as well. So you can hop on those live with us. We're going to have Q&A sections. We're going to have guest speakers. And who knows? There might be a few real life superheroes on the call.
Ooh, fun.
Yes. All right. Number 3. The number 3 way to make your actor rehearsals more effective is, bring up the banner. Drum roll, please. Do it 250 ways. So this speaks to what I was saying, is put in the time. The more time you put into it, the more you say it, the more you rehearse it. It's going to be in your body. And I can attest to this. All of the bigger roles that I've booked, I think, have come from the second I got the sides. I was chomping at the bit and I was drooling over this role, and I did it more times than I had in other situations, and I ended up booking them. And also, we should say, make sure you're rehearsing out loud. There's no phase, at least I don't feel there should be. There's no pre-phase where you're just memorizing lines, and then once you memorize lines like an intellectual book nerd, then you move to performance and rehearsing and acting. You're learning the scene and you're learning the lines as you're rehearsing. And as Tom always says, I love how this class or our podcast are often, even more so now that we know that there's a bunch of Totteroff watchers on this. But so much of our content is us reiterating and or directly quoting Tom because it's so applicable. But now I forget what I was even saying. What was I just talking about? I got sidetracked.
I wasn't paying attention.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. You're not. I was just saying there's no phase where you're memorizing. There's no phase where you're just memorizing it. You got to say it. I was going to say rehearse slowly to later perform swiftly. That's what I was to quote Tom again. Rehearse slowly to later perform swiftly. So you might get your sides, and everyone does this differently. Some people read the whole thing a million times and say it out loud. But the point is, don't sit there going like this is my pet peeve when I see actors, especially when we're helping people run sessions here, and they come in and they got their sides and they're like, I'm like, what are you doing right now? You're like, it's like Michael Jordan doesn't rehearse his free throws by just throwing it like this and throws one underhand and then just like chucks it up and throws one behind his head. It's like you rehearse the way you play, you practice the way you play. And so don't like, there's no stage of just like reading it and reading it and reading it. Say it out loud. Acting is vocal, and do it 250 times or 500 times. And what we mean by do it different ways, you might do it in different voices. You might sing it once. You might do it while you're doing something physical, while you're doing the dishes. You might be reciting them while you're going for a run. Or we used to do in the summertime, we'd be playing basketball, shooting hoops. And as we're shooting hoops, we're reciting Shakespeare lines so that it gets in your body. You never want to do it the same way over and over and over again, where you're training your body and your brain to have the same cadence and the same inflection. You want to get it in there, but then you want to be able to get it in there so entrenched in you, but not in a set way, if that makes sense. So that then when it comes time for performance, that it's going to feel fresh, it's going to feel alive, it's going to feel like life, which isn't rehearsed. That's the weird fucked up paradox about acting, is you rehearse things for 500 times or 1,000 times or spend 6 months in rehearsals, but then the second that the curtain rises or someone yells action, it can't look rehearsed. It can't sound rehearsed. You can't just be like, oh yeah, this guy has clearly rehearsed this. It can't sound like a speech. It has to be fresh thoughts in the moment, acting at the speed of life, having these fresh discoveries where you're actually watching someone act in real life and have these real thoughts in the moment. And that just comes. Yeah. Joanna says, remember to forget. But you gotta, it's like, you gotta rehearse it so much that it's just in you so that you can't help. You can't not remember it, but then you have to remember to forget it. It's a really weird thing. Acting is a really weird thing.
Well, because it's rehearsing it so many times that you're able to let it go and let the piece be free, right? Because the more you, because you what you don't want to do is you don't want to get into a set rhythm like you talked about. You don't want to have like an internal clock, because as soon as we start just doing that, it becomes immediately predictable. So what I really like to do, and something that I have always really loved from working at the University of Windsor, was stepping the text, stepping on each word of the line. That's it. It's the first thing I usually do when I get an audition, when I'm working on a new piece, and it immediately gets it into my body because I'm actively doing something. I'm actively stepping on each word. And so I change when the intention of the line changes, or when my tactics change, or when the thing I want to do changes, or when an event happens. Number 9, like, you have to keep adapting. So keep layering, as we talked about before, keep layering on all these different tactics and different choices that you're going to make for your audition, and the better it's going to be.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and do it a million different ways, and some ridiculous ways as well. It's rehearsal needs to be a phase of play. It shouldn't feel like homework. And that's the other thing. Like sometimes people, and myself included in the past, sometimes it felt really tedious, or like, I gotta spend time on this. And it's because I was going about it all wrong. I was treating it intellectually. I was treating it like it was doing math homework, or memorization homework, instead of say it in a wacky voice, say it in an accent, do it in Irish, do it in Italian, do it in a Mickey Mouse voice, do it in an old Gandalf voice. Like, do it 1,000 different ways, so it's just in you a million different ways, and then it's fun. And then what ends up happening too is every like maybe 10th wacky way you do it, you find something in there where you're like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to do one where I just scream it like a raving lunatic in this one. And then you're like, oh shit, you know what? That actually worked on that 1 or 2 lines right there. Or if you'll just find things that you end up keeping that if you didn't play in the first place, you never would have discovered them. So just treat it like a sandbox, treat it like what you're a kid in kindergarten, and you're just being ridiculous. And then you can slowly hone it and bring it back to where you want it. And you realize what to keep and what to throw away. But if you didn't have that playtime, you would never found that stuff. And it comes from the time and the preparation and how many times you've done it. Certainly not doing it the same way. And just giving yourself that time to discover these things. Do it. Do it 250 ways. All right, number 4. What do we got here? Oh, by the way, for everyone watching right now, smash that share button. Share this out right now. Share this with your other actor friends. I know we've got an international audience right now. We got people in, I'm going to say we got people in Kansas or Oklahoma. Oklahoma? Joanna, are you in Kansas or Oklahoma? I always forget. I think she's in Oklahoma. And we've got Lori is in Pennsylvania. And Simba's in Buffalo. So share this out. We're going international right now. Kansas City, Joanna says. Kansas City. Right. Shout out to Kansas City. Yes. We're not in Kansas anymore. All right. Number 4. Number 4 way to make your that doesn't make sense. Number 4 way. The 4th way to make your rehearsals more effective as an actor is to play with others. As we always say, it's really fun playing by yourself, but it's more fun playing with others, right? Brandon, get your Get your mind out of the gutter. Come on. Come on. Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
So whenever possible, I mean, again, you don't always have this luxury, but when you do, if you have another actor, now the brilliant thing is with Zoom, you can just hop on a Zoom. We offer Zoom rehearsal sessions and Zoom recording sessions through Laughing Vikings. If you can get here in person, we have a lot of actors with their bigger auditions. Rather than just book a self-tape session, they'll book an hour session just purely for rehearsal. So they're coming in with that sandbox mentality. We're just going to come and play and discover. By the end of that hour, they actually have some creative ideas and the juices are flowing. They're like, oh, fuck. Okay, now I know. I think I know what this is all about. And then they'll book another session either the same day or even the next day, and then come back with all that information they've gleaned from rehearsals to then really infuse it. So find a friend. I mean, if ideally an actor, but I mean, you can always give your family member some sides, but better to be an actor or someone who's a little informed in the business, so that you're not learning bad habits or wasting someone's time who doesn't want to be doing it with you. But again, it's a physical thing, it's a vocal thing, and it's more fun when you're doing it with someone else. So find your rehearsal buddies, find your audition buddies. And again, for those of you who are still discovering us, go to Actors Audition Club on Instagram. You see it pop up there. Actors Audition Club is our separate audition Instagram account. And you can register for the Audition Hero event at laughingvikings.com/audition hero. And you can join a community where you have a bunch of these people at your disposal at any time. So you get that last minute audition. It's just boom, hop on laughingvikings.com, book an audition session either via Zoom if you're international, or if you're in a city where we have a studio, you can come to one of our studios and you do that in person. But it's having that community and being a part of a community where you always have someone to rely on and you have someone to help. Because man, it's way more fun. It's way more fun. Like and the opposite of that, the least fun way to rehearse is holding your paper going trying to memorize it. The most fun is in a room with another person and you're ranting and raving and yelling and screaming and you're meddling with them and there's a push and pull and you're really trying to affect them. And then somewhere in the middle is a Zoom call where you're able to actually get on it with them as well. So play with others, find friends, find a community. And if you don't have one, if you're a little orphan actor and none of people in your family wants to be an actor and play with you, and they just think you're fucking insane, and they're like, man, you just need to grow up and get a real job. That's why we exist at Actors Audition Club and Laughing Vikings. So join our community. Joanna says, #truth. We're dropping truth bombs here. All right, number 5. We're bringing it down to the wire. Number 5, the fifth way to make your rehearsals more effective is record it. There's a hell of an idea. And this is again something that doesn't seem that apparent, but it's such an advantage that now most auditions are either self-tapes or on Zoom, where you're not having to go to a studio to do it. Because the challenge there is you never knew what framing you were in unless you asked. And even if you did ask, maybe you didn't get a straight answer. You certainly never got to see it. So you would just come in, deliver a take or two and leave. And then you just have to like trust that, okay, yeah, that felt good. I did everything I intended to. Sort of go through your checklist of what you had planned. But in these days of self-tapes and Zoom rehearsals and Zoom sessions, hop on Zoom or set up your camera or come to a studio like ours. And then in your rehearsals, you don't need to record them all, certainly not the first few, but as you start to get closer and closer to what you feel your on the day performance would be, or your audition performance would be, start recording those so you can start to see eye lines and you can start to see viewpoints and you can see your entrance and exits and you can see when you look on the floor at the dead body, oh shit, my eye line is too low right now. and you're only seeing my forehead, and no one's going to cast me based on my beautiful forehead. I need to raise that eye line up a bit and be like, holy shit, dead body on the ground, so you can see that stuff. Or eye lines, like you record, some people record a driving scene, for example, and here I am in my car driving and I'm talking to the passenger the whole time here. Well, that's no good, because then they're just looking at the side of your face the whole time. So you can work out all those eye lines, and you can actually see what the production team and what casting is going to see, and then you can correct those things. So there's so many advantages right now to self-tapes. Like I honestly hope I don't ever want to go back to an in-studio first audition. I think it's a waste of time for production. I think it's a waste of time for casting, and it's a huge waste of time for any actor that has to trek across town for 2 or 3 hours to have 2 minutes in a room. Makes zero sense, especially when 90% of those auditions are just going to be crossed off the list for them to get down to a short list for the callbacks. So callbacks, yeah. Chemistry reads, yeah. Do those in person, where you want to get a vibe and get a feel, and production needs to meet you as a human being, get a sense like, do I want to work with this person for several weeks or 6 months on a feature? But beyond that, man, it's like such an advantage to be able to rehearse and record at home and to figure out all of those things. Anything else you want to say about recording it?
No, it's such a beneficial thing. I've been going through all of my old self-tapes from this past year just to review what I'm doing, how I've worked, how I've improved, what I need to work on. And like, it's such a great tool to have those archives that you can look back and just see, okay, I maybe am a little too pitchy sometimes, or I have a tendency to go into the high register, or I don't focus on the low register as often, or I'm not being as still as I want to be.
Right. That's a big one. Yeah. I was going to just mention that too. You might notice that, oh shit, like, especially if you're in a close-up, it's like you have to be dead still in a close-up. The second you're starting to sway, it just ruins everything. And if you're on set doing that, the DOP, a cinematographer, is they're going to lose their mind. And then the flip side to that is, if you're in a nice big wide, you have some room to play. So you can see that, and you can start to see like, okay, I can have a nice big wide entrance, get some physicality, let them see like a medium and or a wide shot of me. If like the scene's at a wedding dance and you sort of are at a party or something, you can dance your way into it. And then the final shot, where it's the big heart moment at the end of the scene, you can get up close and be right there. So you can start to get a sense for those viewpoints. And if you're a person, nice. Joanna says, thank you. I'm going to record my rehearsal tonight. Yeah, please do.
Make an exit. Oh, never mind.
There I am. Yeah. And if you're one of those people who is like, oh, I hate watching myself, I can't look at myself, you got to just get over that. It's part of your profession. And the more you can branch from actor to filmmaker and start to get a sense of how a director thinks, or how a director of photography thinks, as far as framing and viewpoints and all that stuff. It's just, you need to learn that. Like, maybe you need to learn also to not only see what you feel are your flaws, where every time you look at yourself, that's part of the problem, is if every time you look at yourself, you're like, oh, that thing I do with my eyebrow, or, oh, I don't like how I have this little thing, or, oh, that stupid, oh, look at my chin. Like, all of that stuff is just your ego, and the focus is on you there, rather than serving the text and telling the story and affecting your scene partner. You just got to get over all that nonsense. And how you get over it, though, is by seeing yourself a lot. So you're kind of immune to that, and you're not thinking all those dumb negative thoughts, and you're just looking at it practically as a filmmaker, seeing like, oh, you know what? I didn't fill the frame properly, or I should have ended on a nice close-up, or my eye line for that one guy was too wide, or whatever it might be. But you need to start seeing that. It's a visual medium. So to be an actor who's like, I don't watch any of my stuff. I mean, I get it at like an A-list level, where if you're spending that much time on camera and that much time on set, maybe you're just sick of it. But while you're still learning it and you're still figuring it out, it's like you have to. It doesn't make any sense to not see it. Like, I don't know how you would, like, how are you going to improve if you don't know what you look like?
Yeah, exactly.
And that was one of the things, like, man, I think back to probably like the first 5 years of auditions that I had, live auditions, and especially because I hadn't taken on-camera classes. My background starting in stand-up and sketch comedy and being like dinner theater and stage was all very big, and that doesn't always necessarily translate to camera. So I just think back to like how many auditions did I fucking blow because I had no idea where lens was. I had no idea about where I was sending my eye lines. I was maybe moving too much, or just not putting the eye lines in the right spot. And maybe I had an okay performance in the room, but if you were to look at the video of it afterwards, they couldn't have cast me because I didn't show them what they needed to see because my eye lines were all fucked up and I didn't really know what I was doing there. So it's just like, I feel like I booked things. That's the other thing. It's like, I was booking things and I was having some level of success. So I had a little chip on my shoulder, like, wow, look at how successful I am, even though I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, so I did share. I wore my lack of training as a badge of honor for a while. So I would say that to anyone out there, if you've had any level of success and any part of you is thinking like, man, look at how good I'm doing. And I don't need training. I'm already booking stuff. It's like, imagine if you were trained, then what would you be doing? What would you be accomplishing? Like, I almost feel like I need to go back and apologize to my agent for 5 years of auditions where like maybe I booked 1 out of 10, but maybe I would have booked 1 out of 5 had I known a little bit more about on-camera technique.
Well, and I feel like the quality of auditions have also gone up since the start of March 2020. Because now people have the time to actually focus on this stuff, because most of the time people had only worked in front of a camera in auditions in the room where you have 1 take, maybe 2. And now you actually have the time to spend an hour at Laughing Vikings or wherever you record your self tapes, like to actually focus on eyeline. What's my intention? What's my relationship? Like all these sorts of things. You have so much time now to do it. Like there's no excuse not to do these things. And that's it.
You hear that? There's no excuse. Extreme close-up. Close-ups make careers, right? There you go. All right. So let's recap the top 5 ways you can make your actor auditions more effective. Number 1, get rid of the punctuation and stage directions. Please get rid of it. Number 2, color it with bold choices. Use all the colors of the rainbow and even more. Make up some colors. Number 3, do it 250 ways, all the ways. Spend tons of time on it. Play with others. Number 4, play with others. If you can do it with another live human being, amazing. Number 5 was record it. Put it on tape. Watch yourself. Figure out your frame.
You can do it. We believe in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have fun. Again, the whole thing's supposed to be fun. It's called, I love what Tom always says, it's called a play. It's called a play. It's supposed to be fun. And that's how you know if your auditions are not fun, if you're not feeling fucking pumped for auditions and excited and like vibrant and alive and thinking, this is why I do this, regardless of whether you book it. Every audition is an opportunity to perform. It's an opportunity to create. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to have fun. It's an opportunity to express yourself. And if you're not feeling that, that's your signal to yourself that you're doing it wrong. You're making it intellectual. You're making it an exercise in worry. You're making it an exercise in anxiety. You're making it an exercise in trying to somehow magically figure out what the production team or casting team wants, rather than deciding, hey, I'm a creative human being. What am I going to give them? If they were to offer me this job today and I show up, what's my take on this? that's when it becomes really, really fun. So please make that an indication. If you're somehow sucking the life out of this, like you're ruining it. And it's like, I almost want to be like, you need to quit, because like, get out of the business. If every audition is just like, oh, this isn't fun, this is stressful, it's like you're doing it wrong, and you're taking opportunities away from other people, and you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. And I would never say really to someone to quit, but you either got to quit or you got to change. You got to make it fun and make it childlike. It's supposed to be imaginative. It's supposed to be emotional. It's supposed to be infused with feeling and fun and creativity. And you should feel vibrantly alive, not constricted like a bird in a cage, trying to reverse engineer someone else's mind and figure out what they want and trying to do the thing that they want you to do. That's the worst. Like, if you're doing that, then every audition feels terrible. And that's the reason, because you're just doing it wrong. So have more fun, have more playtime. That's what it's supposed to be about. And as a reminder, if you want to become an audition hero and step into your dream role in 2022, we have a fantastic training event coming up January 27th at 6 p.m. You can register for day one of that. It's going to be very interactive. We're going to have all kinds of actors from across the world there. We're going to have some guest speakers, some guest training. We're going to talk about all things auditions, all things self-tapes, and you're going to have an opportunity to meet a bunch of new friends and join a new community. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero, laughingvikings.com/audition hero. Make sure to save your spot, and we will see you live on January 27th, and we'll all become heroes. You couldn't be I can be your hero, baby. Oh, yeah. You can take my breath away. Yes. Oh, we appreciate you too. And we want to say thank you to all the viewers today, especially the Totter Off people who are here. I love all of you guys. We love all of you guys. And the best thing is, we have a language that we can speak to each other where all this makes sense. So honestly, my dream is that all of you one day run your own studio, and maybe we can work together through Actors Audition Club, and Laughing Vikings can be expanded globally, because we all speak the same lingo, and we all have the same love for the craft, and love for the business, and love for the arts. Make sure, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe on all the podcast platforms, whatever your favorite platform is. You can subscribe. We release a new episode every Friday, and we go live on Mondays. A few days later, we drop them on the podcast platform on a Friday, and we're just going to keep doing it. Yes, already done. Simba says, it's going to happen. It's already done. Yes. Woo! Yes. All right. Is that it? Do you have a quote to send to end our week off?
I do have a quote to inspire our week this week, and it comes from Anton Chekhov.
Nice.
So our quote this week is, "You must trust and believe in people, or life becomes impossible." We've been talking a lot for the past couple of weeks about building a community and making sure that you have that support system. And trust is part of that. And that's a common theme that I've been dealing with. And I think we all deal with it in some capacity. And trusting people is a skill. It's hard to do, just because sometimes we get let down a lot by different people. And we let ourselves down a lot as well. But it's pushing through that. It's making sure that you do have that community, you do have that support system, because the more you have that, the more resilient you are to the no's that you're going to get. And sometimes you have no control over those no's. But the more you put in these choices, the more you focus on your auditions, the more you become that text detective that I know you can be, the better your life is going to be.
Boom. I love what you said there as well. A lot of it is trusting yourself.
Yes.
That's a huge part of this, is just trusting yourself. And at some point, like the seeds of doubt that you have in your mind, or the imposter syndrome, at some point you have to make a decision to let that go. You have to decide, I'm not going to fall back into that. And we all do this. Like we we have these moments where we're like, oh my God, I'm amazing. And that was fucking spot on. And we have these moments and these moments where we shine as performers and we're like, fuck yeah, that was top. And then we slip back into these doubtful phases and where we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our instincts. We don't trust our decisions. And so just make the decision to fully believe in yourself. Like be your own number one fan. Be the, and I don't mean in a boastful, cocky way where you're spouting it off and everyone's like, oh, look at this asshole who thinks he's the best. But at least in your own mind, if it's not outwardly vocal, in your own mind, feel and trust that you're here, you're on this earth, you're alive. The universe has infused you with creativity and a brilliant mind full of choices and full of life, really, and just trust that you're here for a reason, you're here for purpose, and that you can do amazing things for yourself and for other people in this world. But just trust that. Let go of the bullshit and let go of all those shitty old stories. Like we talk about this a lot, but think about how many times you've had thoughts about yourself that if someone else said that to you, you'd be like, fuck you. Who the fuck do you think you are? Like you might punch them in the face. You'd be like, get the fuck away from me. Don't ever tell me. Like, I would not want someone to say like, oh, you think you got what it takes, or I don't know. You sure? When you gonna, like, are you gonna, maybe you should look for a plan B, like any of those kind of thoughts. Like, just get rid of those thoughts, trust yourself, and then just relentlessly move forward and become the hero you've always needed to become. I can be your hero, baby. They say that a hero was down there and bad and made it. Shout out to Nickelback. All right. Oh, there I go. Perfect timing. I just went blurry again.
Perfect.
All right. Old blurry Lars. It's actually something that I can do. I've developed. It's is
that your superpower?
Yeah, it's a bit of a physical quirk that I can do. I can make myself go blurry. They call me Blurry Man. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's
Blurry Man.
It's Logitech Man. Yeah. All right, I'm going to exit and then enter again.
Yep. And. And.
Hey! There we go. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Share this with all your friends. Make sure to share that link, laughingvikings.com/audition hero, with all of your actor friends. And let's all be fucking heroes. The world needs more heroes right now, and it needs way less villains. So we can band together. We can create our own Avengers and our own Justice League of auditioners and tackle the world and other worlds beyond this.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye.